So today I'm going to be sharpening these Neutrum charcoal sticks that I use for my drawing sometimes. I really like the consistency of the charcoal. It's not got a lot of knots in the wood that'll tear the paper or impurities. It's really good, consistent charcoal to use. I was taught by Julia Aristides how to sharpen the charcoal to a fine point in order to get details and have more control over my mark application. A few things about sharpening charcoal outside. Well, one, do it outside so you don't breathe in the charcoal dust. You can consume charcoal, that's not bad for you, but breathing it in is another matter. So if you're sharpening charcoal outside, that's good. Hopefully it's breezy, you don't breathe a lot of it in. But if you sharpen it inside, just try not to breathe it in or have a fan going or something. I pre-sharpen the sticks I use just because it's convenient, but also if you're drawing in a studio with a lot of people, like in a life drawing studio or figure drawing, that noise that when you're sharpening can be really irritating to other people. So it's just considerate to sharpen the charcoal beforehand, and it's convenient. On one side I have a grit that's 200 grit. It takes the square clunkiness edges down quickly, and the other side is 600. So this one is a little bit more abrasive, and it takes the charcoal away quicker. But once you get it down to, let's see, something that's almost a super sharp point, then you can further hone that point on the finer sandpaper right here. And this is just belt sandpaper that I get at Home Depot. I have it clipped and taped to a little clipboard. You can see some of the dust that fell. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Let's see. When I was up in Seattle as a student in Julia Aristides' atelier, a lot of my classmates and I would spend a good chunk of time out in the hallway sharpening charcoal. At the time, I really didn't like to do that. I would try and sharpen it before class or before I even got there, but I kind of miss those moments of just sharpening charcoal with my classmates and catching up with them and talking. So I don't mind the noise now, it's kind of nostalgic for me. Oh, and every now and then somebody would break their charcoal that they've been spending a lot of time sharpening, and that was like the loudest sound in the hallway. Not because it was literally loud, but because we all knew that sound, and we all knew what it felt like to break charcoal after spending time, sharpening it. It's just, there's a camaraderie there where you're like, ah. And everybody would get quiet and kind of nod their head and and acknowledge that, that sucks. Those are good times. And Neutrum charcoal comes in a bunch of different hardness and softness levels. And they're indicated by the color. So this is green, this is soft, and yellow is super soft, and then blue is hard, and orange is medium. Not everybody will understand why I'm sharpening the charcoal this sharp before they see me draw. well, once you're seeing somebody draw and feeling in the tooth of the paper, the texture of the paper, sometimes you need to get in there and really draw in the sunken levels of the paper. And you do that with the sharp points, and you do details with the sharp points. You don't want to compress the tooth of the paper, because you're beating up the paper, and it won't, you're flattening the texture, and sometimes it'll actually reflect in the light differently. A lot of times with graphite, you'll see that people are trying to get a space of the paper filled in, and instead of sharpening their graphite to get into the crevices of the tooth of the paper very methodically, they'll just press real hard, even with a soft graphite, like even a 9B, they'll press really hard, and what that does is, it smashes the tooth of the paper, it fills it in, but it smashes the tooth of the paper, and it burnishes the graphite, and it's really reflective. I'll have to do a video about that sometime. I'm new to these video things. I'm new to making videos and posting them on YouTube. It was suggested I do it, and I feel like I'm doing the work anyway, so I'll start videotaping it. No guarantees that I'll get better. Well, I'll probably get better as I go. Anyway, got a lot of these to do. Sometimes I'll sharpen them, eventually get down to something this size, just about an inch, where drawing with it's kind of uncomfortable. And then I make the value judgment of, do I want to keep drawing with it, or do I add it to my collection? And so this is my little collection of stubs. It's just not worth it to me at a certain point to sharpen it, because I don't like drawing with the little stub, a little piece of charcoal. So hopefully this video helps you and shows you how I prepare my charcoal. If you have any questions, I guess you can message me. Alright, I'm gonna keep doing this.